What if I told you some of the most powerful tools in the world are sitting right in people's homes, completely legal to own, not in secret labs, not locked behind government doors, but available to anyone with an internet connection? We're talking about gadgets that can see in total darkness, track movement across cities, analyze behavior, and even bypass systems that once felt untouchable. If this sounds like something out of a spy movie, that's because it used to be. But in 2026, the line between science fiction and everyday reality has almost disappeared. And that raises a serious question. Just because something is legal, does that mean it should feel normal? Today, we're counting down 10 gadgets that feel like they should be restricted. But in most places, they're completely legal to own. Some of these are useful, some are controversial, and some might genuinely make you uncomfortable. Let's start with number 10. Number 10. Night vision goggles. For decades, the ability to see in the dark was something only soldiers and specialized units had access to. It was associated with secrecy, surveillance, and high-stakes operations. Now it's something civilians can buy. Modern night vision goggles work by amplifying the smallest traces of light. Even in conditions that appear completely dark to the human eye, these devices can create a visible image. The first time you use them, the experience feels unnatural. You look into darkness, and suddenly the world appears. Shapes form. Movement becomes visible. Details emerge where there should be nothing. It changes your perception of what darkness really means. People use them for hiking, wildlife observation, nighttime security, and even recreational exploration. But despite these normal uses, the feeling doesn't change. There's something about being able to see when others can't that feels like crossing into restricted territory. And while high-end military versions are controlled in some regions, consumer-grade night vision devices remain widely available, perfectly legal. Number 9. GPS trackers. Now imagine placing a small device somewhere and being able to monitor its exact location in real time. Not approximately, not generally, but precisely. That's what modern GPS trackers allow you to do. They're small, discreet, and incredibly accurate. You can track vehicles, luggage, equipment, and even pets from anywhere in the world through a simple app. For businesses, this technology is essential. It helps manage fleets, monitor deliveries, and improve efficiency. For families, it can provide a sense of security. But there's another side to this technology. The idea that something can be tracked so easily, so silently, can feel invasive. It creates a strange sense of control. And that's where legality becomes complicated. In most places, using a GPS tracker on your own belongings is completely legal. But using it to track another person without their knowledge or consent crosses into illegal territory. The device itself is not the issue, it's the intent behind it. And that pattern will repeat throughout this list. Number 8. Radio frequency detectors. Before we move into more obvious gadgets, let's talk about something less known, but equally powerful. Radio frequency detectors. These devices are designed to detect signals being transmitted in an area. That includes hidden cameras, listening devices, and wireless transmitters. In other words, they help you find surveillance. At first, that sounds like a defensive tool, something you would use to protect your privacy. And in many cases, that's exactly what they're used for. People use them in hotel rooms, rental properties, and private spaces to check for hidden devices. But here's what makes them feel unusual. You don't usually think about being watched until you have a tool that can confirm it. And once you do, your perspective changes. Suddenly, every unfamiliar device becomes suspicious. Every signal becomes a possibility. Owning a radio frequency detector is legal in most regions, but using it reminds you of something important. If you can detect surveillance, that means surveillance is possible. Number 7. Lock-picking kits. A small pouch, a few thin metal tools, that's all it takes. Lock-picking kits are simple in appearance, but powerful in capability. With the right technique, they can open locks without a key. And that alone makes them feel like they shouldn't be accessible. But in reality, these kits are legal to own in many countries. They are used by locksmiths, security professionals, and even hobbyists who practice lockpicking as a skill. There's even a competitive side to it where enthusiasts test their abilities against increasingly complex locks. The idea is not to break security, but to understand it. Still, the concept remains unsettling because it reveals something most people don't think about. Locks are not absolute. They are barriers, but not guarantees. And when you realize that, it changes how you see everyday security. Number 6. Thermal imaging cameras. Unlike night vision, which relies on light, thermal cameras operate on an entirely different principle. They detect heat. Every object, every person, every living thing emits heat. Thermal cameras capture those differences and turn them into visible images. That means you can see in complete darkness, through smoke, sometimes even through thin materials. What you see isn't color or texture, it's temperature. A human body appears as a bright shape. A recently used object glows differently than its surroundings. It feels less like looking and more like analyzing. These devices are used in construction, firefighting, electrical inspection, and search and rescue operations. But when you use one for the first time, it doesn't feel like a normal tool. It feels like you're accessing a hidden layer of reality. And while advanced models are still expensive, more affordable versions are now widely available, again, completely legal. Number 5. Voice-changing technology. Your voice is one of the most unique identifiers you have. It's how people recognize you, understand you, and connect with you. Now imagine changing it instantly. Modern voice changers can alter pitch, tone, and style in real time. Some can even replicate different accents or create entirely artificial voices. These tools are used in gaming, entertainment, content creation, and privacy protection. For example, streamers might use them to stay anonymous, but the same technology can also be used to disguise identity. And that's where things become more complicated. Because when identity becomes flexible, trust becomes more fragile. The technology itself is not illegal, but it introduces a new layer of complexity in communication. You're no longer just hearing a voice, you're hearing a version of it. Number 4, hidden cameras. Hidden cameras are one of the most controversial gadgets you can legally own. They are designed to blend in inside everyday objects, clocks, chargers, pens, even light bulbs. Their primary purpose is security. People use them to monitor homes, protect property, and ensure safety. In some situations, they can provide valuable evidence. But the idea of a camera that you can't see changes how you feel about your environment. It creates uncertainty. Because if a camera can be hidden so easily, how would you know? That's why laws around their use are strict. In many places, recording people without their consent in private spaces is illegal. So while owning a hidden camera is legal, using it incorrectly can cross a serious line. Number 3. Camera drones. Drones have transformed how we capture the world. They can fly high, move smoothly, and record footage that was once impossible without expensive equipment. Today, even consumer drones can shoot high-quality video, follow subjects automatically, and navigate complex environments. For filmmakers and photographers, this is a creative breakthrough. But from another perspective, it can feel intrusive. A device hovering above, recording everything below, it changes the idea of privacy. Because now, observation is no longer limited to ground level. Most countries allow drone ownership, but they regulate how and where drones can be used. Airspace restrictions, no-fly zones, and privacy laws all come into play. So while the technology is accessible, its use is carefully controlled. Number 2. Keyless entry signal tools. Modern cars rely heavily on wireless systems. You don't always need to insert a key anymore. You just need to be nearby. And the car unlocks automatically. This convenience is powerful. But it also introduces vulnerabilities. Certain devices can capture or extend these wireless signals. In controlled environments, this technology is used by researchers to test security systems. It helps manufacturers identify weaknesses and improve safety. But the same concept can be misused. which is why the legality often depends on intent and context. The existence of these tools reveals something important. Convenience and security don't always move at the same pace, and sometimes increasing one can weaken the other. Number 1. AI-powered surveillance systems. At number 1, we have something that represents the future: AI-powered surveillance. These systems go beyond recording video, they analyze it. They can recognize faces, detect patterns, identify unusual behavior, and send alerts in real time. They don't just capture information, they interpret it. Businesses use them for security. Cities use them for monitoring. Homeowners use them for protection. But the implications go deeper. Because once a system can recognize and analyze behavior, it changes the role of surveillance. It becomes active, not just observing, but understanding. And that raises important questions. Where is the boundary between safety and privacy? Who controls the data, and how much monitoring is too much? These systems are legal in many contexts, but they represent a shift in how technology interacts with everyday life. A shift that is still being understood. So, what's the bigger picture here? Every gadget on this list shares something in common. They are powerful, they are accessible, and they challenge the idea of what should feel normal. In most cases, owning these devices is legal, but using them without responsibility can quickly cross into illegal territory, and that's the key point. Technology itself is not inherently good or bad, it's a tool. What matters is how it's used. As these tools become more advanced, the responsibility shifts toward the user. Not just governments or organizations, but individuals. And that changes everything. Because now, the power that was once limited to institutions is available to almost anyone. So the final question isn't just about these gadgets, it's about the future. As technology continues to evolve, where should the line be drawn? What should remain accessible, and what should be restricted? Because the decisions we make today will shape how these tools are used tomorrow. And that's something worth thinking about. So now the question is yours. Which of these gadgets surprised you the most? And do you think any of them should actually be illegal? Because as technology moves forward, the line between possible and acceptable keeps getting thinner.